Hey everyone, and welcome back to Motivate Lounge Coffee Shop Chat. We're doing a deep dive today into some seriously cool study motivation techniques, and especially if you're thinking about university, this is going to be awesome. We've got some great articles here, and to help us kind of break it all down, we have our expert who's like amazing at explaining things in a way that actually makes sense. Welcome.
Hey everyone, super excited to be here. Let's do this.
Okay, so let's be real for a sec. Procrastination, it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
We've all been there. But these articles, they actually have some pretty clever ways to beat it. One that really caught my eye was this thing called the Pomodoro technique. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, for sure. The Pomodoro technique, it's awesome. It's like this, you know how our brains aren't really meant to just focus for hours on end?
Totally.
So the Pomodoro technique is all about working with your brain's natural rhythms. You focus for 25 minutes, then you take a short break.
That's actually a really cool idea. It's like you're tricking your brain into thinking, okay, 25 minutes, I can do this. And then you get a little reward.
Exactly. And those breaks, they're key. You got to give your mind a chance to reset so you can come back feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next round.
It's like a little mini vacation for your brain.
Right.
Okay, so another thing that these articles talk about is the whole idea of remembering your why. And this really resonated with me because when you're like knee-deep in textbooks, it's so easy to lose sight of the big picture, you know?
Absolutely. Having a strong why is huge GD for motivation. It's that thing that keeps you going when you hit those rough patches. One article even suggested making a vision board, putting your goals and dreams out there visually.
That's a cool idea, like a visual reminder of what you're working towards.
Exactly.
You know, this reminds me of when I was studying for this crazy physics exam I was about to give up, but then I remembered why I was doing it. I was determined to get into this awesome engineering program. So I printed out a picture of a bridge. Yeah, I was obsessed with bridges back then. And I stuck it above my desk. Every time I felt like quitting, I'd look at that picture and be like, okay, back on track. And you know what? I aced that exam and got into my dream program.
That's awesome. See? It totally works.
So we've got the Pomodoro technique for focused studying, and we're remembering our why to stay motivated. What else did these articles have?
Well, they also talked a lot about finding your ideal study environment, which is super personal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like some people, they need total silence. Others, they need a little background noise. I'm definitely a coffee shop kind of guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's something about the energy of a coffee shop that just gets my brain going. But I know some people who need absolute quiet to focus.
Totally. It's all about finding what works for you and minimizes those distractions.
For sure. And you know, sometimes the hardest part is just starting.
Ugh, tell me about it.
Like you're staring at your books, feeling totally overwhelmed, and you're like, where do I even begin?
I know exactly what you mean. It can be paralyzing. But one of the articles had a great tip for that. Fake it till you make it.
Ooh, I like that.
So even if you don't feel like it, just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to work on this for 15 minutes. And often once you get started, you actually find yourself getting into a groove.
Yeah, that's so true. It's all about breaking down those mental barriers.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the Pomodoro technique, remembering your why, finding that perfect study spot.
Yeah.
What else is in this treasure trove of study motivation secrets?
It's interesting, actually. One of the articles said that, like, acknowledging those feelings of resistance, it's actually a really important step.
Oh, totally. It's like saying to yourself, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I know I'd rather be watching Netflix, but I'm going to deal with it.
Exactly. You're not letting those feelings take over. And it can actually help you focus on what you need to do.
I get that. It's like taking back control.
Yeah. And another thing they talked about was don't run away from the work.
Ugh, it's so tempting though.
I know, but it just makes things worse in the long run, right?
Totally. It's like this big, scary monster that's just going to keep growing.
Exactly. So even if you're not feeling it, just try to commit to like a small chunk of time. Even 20 minutes can make a difference.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much you can actually get done.
And sometimes you might even find yourself getting into a groove and working for way longer than you planned.
Oh yeah, that happens to me all the time. And hey, if you do procrastinate a little, it's okay. It happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Just try to get back on track.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself. We all have those days.
Okay, so switching gears a bit. One of the articles talked about understanding your study style. And it made me think, we all learn differently, right?
Absolutely. Some people are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some people need to move around and be more hands-on.
It's like finding your own learning superpower.
Right. And the articles suggested trying out different techniques and study environments. Like if you're a visual learner, maybe try using flashcards or color coding your notes.
Mm.
If you're an auditory learner, maybe record yourself reading your notes and listen back to them.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Mix and match. See what works for you.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is super important, especially for university, is communicating with others.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're struggling or if you're just trying to figure things out, sometimes talking to a friend or a teacher, it can be so helpful.
Absolutely. Sometimes just saying things out loud can make them seem less scary. Plus, someone else might have gone through the same thing and can offer some advice.
For sure. Okay, I'm curious. What's your favorite study motivation tip? The one that always works for you?
That's a tough one. I think for me, it's all about connecting to the bigger picture. Like, why am I studying this? What are the real world applications? How is this going to help me reach my goals?
I love that. It's like you're not just learning for a test, you're learning for life.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot today. The Pomodoro technique, remembering your why, understanding your study style. Are you feeling motivated yet, listeners?
I know I am. But wait, there's more. We've got another round of tips coming up.
Yes. So stick around. We'll be right back with even more study motivation secrets. All right, we are back and ready for the final stretch of our study motivation marathon.
We've saved some of the best tips for last.
Okay, so we've talked about finding your ideal study environment, but even with like the perfect setup, sometimes those tasks can feel huge E. You know?
Yeah, totally. It's like, how am I ever going to get all of this done?
Exactly. But one of the articles had this really cool way of dealing with that overwhelmed feeling. It's all about setting time-limited goals.
Oh, that makes sense.
So instead of focusing on the whole thing, you just break it down into smaller chunks.
So instead of, I have to write this whole essay tonight, it's okay for the next hour, I'm just going to focus on the introduction.
Exactly. It's like climbing a mountain. You don't look at the summit the whole time, right? You just focus on taking one step at a time.
Yeah, I like that analogy. And speaking of mountains, one of the articles actually compared studying to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Whoa, okay, hold on. How is studying like climbing Kilimanjaro?
Well, they were saying that both of them can be challenging. They push you out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it's even a little uncomfortable, you know?
Like those late night study sessions when you'd rather be doing anything else?
Yeah, but the reward at the end, it's so worth it. Just like reaching that summit, achieving your academic goals, it feels amazing. It's like you conquered something huge.
And that feeling, it sticks with you.
For sure.
So yeah, the next time you're feeling discouraged, remember that Kilimanjaro analogy. Focus on the end goal and let that be your motivation.
Yeah, and don't forget to take care of yourself too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Get enough sleep, eat healthy, stay hydrated. Your brain needs that stuff.
Definitely. You got to give your brain the fuel it needs.
All right, so we've covered a ton of ground today. Time management techniques, visualization, understanding your study style. We've really explored a lot of awesome strategies to help you stay motivated and reach your goals.
Well, remember, studying, it's not always easy. It takes hard work and dedication.
But trust me, it's so worth it. With the right mindset and the right strategies, you can achieve anything you set your mind to.
You got this.
That's such a great message. And on that note, we want to thank you all for joining us today on Motivate Lounge Coffee Shop Chat.
We hope you're leaving feeling super motivated and ready to tackle those study challenges.
Remember, you got this. We're cheering you on every step of the way. Until next time, keep those study vibes high and those coffee cups full.